Hey folks, what is going on? RedMaster here, and welcome back to episode of Cards and Castles Known Combos, where today we are jumping into a archetype that has kind of long been forgotten. It's not really used a lot. You don't really see it too often pop up, and I'm talking about monsters. And not, just the standard big unit that is a monster. I'm talking about the actual monsters, your Krakens, your Grendels, your Minotaurs, those big boys. It's been a while since I've kind of played a solid monsters deck, and I feel like what I have right now is a pretty interesting contender to kind of throw in the ranked mix. So with that being said, without further ado, let's go ahead and showcase to you guys the Beef Monsters deck. Alright folks, now here is the deck list for Beef Monsters. Now if you couldn't already figure out, the deck list is centered around monsters and making them a bit beefy to the point where they're nearly unstoppable without having to use a lot of resources. Cards like Grendel, Minotaur, even Ajira to an extent, and Colossus as our, another beefy unit here. Pair those along with cards like Fat Bard, Armory, and Priest. You're going to get some big units that are very hard to take out without the use of direct removal or AoE. Things like Dragon's Fire and Flamestorm could be problematic to the deck for sure, but I think they, most of the monsters have enough beef base-wise to kind of, avoid that AoE burn. Things like Dragon's Fire, sure they can weaken them, but not necessarily destroy them all. You're still going to have opponents trading resources, and even after a Dragon's Fire or Flamestorm, to really get rid of your beefy units. So that is sort of like the idea of the deck. To help facilitate that, we're running Fat Bard and Armory as our global buffs. Fat Bard I did over Blacksmith, mainly because that extra 1 health is a bit more important to facilitate the beef idea. Sure, you can go with the Blacksmith if you don't have Bard. That does work too. You do get the attack out of it. But I'm just running running Bard here just because it facilitates bigger beef, not just in the attack, but in the health stat as well. And then of course, like I mentioned, Priest as well, giving that extra 1 health, again, beefy units per se. So, but of course, to go along with those beef enablers, Bard, Armory, Priest, the monster layout, again, pretty standard here. Manfish, Grendel, Ajira, Minotaur, and Kraken, just to get those monsters flowing. We don't have Behemoth since we're not in the ninjas, and Serpent Witch, while it is a beefy card in terms of stats, I think base-wise, it's just too weak, and the stun isn't necessarily too valuable for us here, so hence why we decided to kind of opt out of that. Same with the Kaijir. Well, I don't really think we have options to Kaijir here in Pirate Crusader, so yeah. But with that said, I'm going to go over a couple of other cards that I decided to kind of throw in here to support our beefy monsters. Lumberjack as draw, no surprise there. Hovel in every pirate deck, just love generating those rat tokens. Books for draw. I think I have it. There we go. Books for draw. Hooks, I currently just want to test out how maybe some pull works with these monsters. Maybe if the castle comes a little closer, it won't, you won't have to throw those beefy units as far. And again, that's just better for you because you can get to the castle sooner. I'm just trying him out for now, honestly, in this deck. I think Rusty Hooks can easily be dropped for something like Onslaught or Daggerstorm to help worry about those back row issues. Things like Armory, Tarius. Well, maybe not Armory, but like the units that get, troubling in the back. Things like Tarius, Darkbender, Wizard. Maybe if you want to, you can of course swap the hooks out for Daggerstorm or Onslaught, whatever you prefer. I think it makes no difference in terms of what you want. But yeah, hooks can definitely be dropped for that aspect. Captain to facilitate some ramp for us to help get some things started more quicker. And it does help when you maybe have Bard out and you want to play a Kraken. It is good to kind of get that little synergy going right there. Dwarven Scope, you want to make some beefy units scarier? Easy, just throw a scope on there and there's a big problem. Cannoneer is our range unit for the deck. I could have gone with the Wizard in this deck, but I think the Cannoneer is something I want to, again, try out a little bit. It is following the guidelines of beefy unit, so I do think he kind of fits well into this mix here. It does take a bit for it to get him out, but again, with things like Captain in the deck, it shouldn't be too big of a problem. Execution for hard removal. Mordok, just because, I like Mordok in nearly every day. It's getting to the point where I'm like, yeah, I like throwing Mordok everywhere. But it just, it works so well. He really does. Although if you don't have a Morlock readily available at your disposal, maybe things like Swordsman, or now I'm looking at it, Kraxus could work very well here too. I don't actually have Kraxus, which is, surprising that I'm kind of looking at this deck back. But again, maybe I'll edit it in the future and kind of throw it in there. Maybe sub out the Morlock if I don't feel like Morlock's putting in as much work. Because I do feel like the books is, good draw, but maybe there's not enough. So I don't know. Maybe I'll take a look at that later. Arbiter, as your healing for the deck. Again, Hands of the Saint works just as well if you don't have Arbiter available to you. But I do think the beef and the beatdown themes of it kind of, just urge me to play Arbiter in this deck. So Arbiter over Hands here, but again, if you have Hands, go ahead and throw it in if you don't have the Arbiter. And then, of course, Kraken, our big sort of surprise beef, can handle some back row threats, but also what you might end up using most of the time to close out your games. Of course, just have a 7/7 or 8/8 Kraken materialize, smack for big damage, and potentially end the game right there. If you, or if you got to the castle to that point. I don't really know how the game's going to be looking for you personally. But with that being said, I think I've covered just about every card for the Beef Monsters. Let's go ahead and get into the actual gameplay, though, and show you how this deck works. Alright, so here we go with the showcase match, and we've got a decent opening. I'm going to go ahead and risk swapping one of those Colossuses to see if I could pull a monster, which we did. We've got 2 Manfishes, so those are going to be what we use to hopefully power up our Colossus here. Going up against a Ninja Crusader, colors you don't see too often. Let's go ahead and start things off. Let's plop down Colossus. No chain in sight to hurt this bad boy just yet, which is very nice. And we'll probably end up going Manfish into the Rider here. I don't think there's really another option for me or no. No. Alright, let's hope that this last will connect with the castle. Thank you, very nice. I do like that. Of course, this miner is going to not get as much value now. He has got to go through the Manfish, which means he will die. Manfish does make that trade. And now we probably have to start getting out our beef. Our, big beef, right? Fat Bard, put down, make this boy a bit bigger. And there is the unfortunate card that I was worrying about this run. That being traps in general. Fuck me. That bites. I mean, that's just a big pull. I was hoping it would be on the lower ends of the pull there, but Green Drake will force the trade, though. Not too bad, although not what we really want. In comes Atarius. Very cool. We don't have a way of dealing with that yet. So instead, let's go Manfish into Flying Books to try to get a bit more draw for ourselves. Unfortunately, we don't really have a lot to hit Tarius except for the Execution, the Kraken. And I don't remember if Onslaught's in here, even though I just went over that. I'm recording this before I look at the deck list, so, got an oopsies there. We cannot take that out. Oh, no, we can. What am I talking about? Bard, Priest. No, that's not enough. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Red made a wrong calculation. Uh-oh, stinky. Now this Demon Hunter's free to pop off. This is why I want the Colossus on board, so we can make all of those things big. I probably should have got that on the board, maybe. No big deal. Okay, lunging attack onto... Well, it's kind of unnecessary when you think about it, how... I mean... Alright, that's what you want. That's what you want. Fine. If that is what you desire. I'm going to have to go into the Minotaur here just to get rid of that. I don't really have another option here. I want to do something with, like, the Bard and Colossus, but that's not going to work. We are slowly but surely running out of resources here as well, which is something that we have to be mindful of. into blacksmith. Okay. Ooh, and there is something I like to see for the next turn. Yeah, let's pop a little bit of damage to keep that Tarius there. Then we'll move you up around like so. Neat. Neat, 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 neat. The Kraken will deal with the Tarius, which has been giving our opponent a lot of value. I mean, I can't do anything about that. Okay, Banshee. Okay, he wants to get rid of the hooks. Yep, he's scared of my pull. He fears the pull power. To a fat part of his own. Do I... The choice here is either Fat Bard to kind of clear off this board a bit better. Or, no, I gotta hit it. I gotta hit this dirty Tarius, giving him so much value. And I give... That's what you hate to see. Cloak off the Banshee. That's just gross. It's just gross. Don't freeze it when you can just take it out. Don't be that guy who's just gonna be like, oh look, I can freeze now. Oh, I could use freeze. Oh. Nope, he's gonna be the guy. There's absolutely no reason to be the guy, but we're gonna be the guy, huh? Very cool. Very epic. Multiple poggers in chat for that. Yeah, and now deal with the big cannoneer. You won't. Granted, this is not the position we want to be in all honesty. Stun manfish, stun manfish. Come on, do it. Hey, there's some big units back there. But they can't really do much, can they? Scope. Nope. Not what we're looking for. Let's do that then. I have nothing better to kind of push with. I don't want to risk Cannoneer. Cannoneer's our big equalizer here. There goes the priest. Trade with the books. Right? Right. Probably should have moved Manfish up in all honesty. Is that an Eternal Judgment trap now that I'm thinking about it? I think it is. Can I pull a scope here? Nope, that's Mordok. Huh. And that is not a trap I like. See, my problem here is that he's got this cloak boy. I cannot deal with cloak boy at this particular point in time. Why are there so many armories back there? Jesus. Oh no. Kraken, no. Arg. Kraken, you were the card I'm looking for, but in a way, Fat Bar does hurt you. This is why I kind of want to have monsters in my hand. Oy. This Cannoneer, though, is very threatening. He's got to remove it somehow to end the game, which, in his position, he's just not able to. Okay, Alpha Strike. Dragon Lore is absolutely useless. You should have focused on getting rid of the Mordok, though. Like, that just... Wait, what's going on? You're making it worse. Homie, you've made the situation so much worse. Fuck! The pull. The pull he needed. Whatever. Okay, give your ass deflecting shield. You know what? Screw it. We're playing captain in the back. If all of these units get some kind of shifting technique, I'm gonna be mad. The win was right there. With the Mordok into the... That actually makes me kind of sad. Oh, that actually makes me kind of sad. Damn. Kinda unfortunate, though, not gonna lie. Man, I think the game is wrapped up. Let's see. Drop Kraken. Yeah, that's well over lethal. And then we bop with Cannoneer. Oh, Lord. Oh, tough one. Tough one. A little tricky. Almost lost myself there. Yeah, I think... Given some interaction, we could have ended the game sooner, but overall, really happy with that performance against Traps. Not exactly something that fun to play against, but hey, we pull out the win in the end anyway. So overall, with that superb demonstration of the Beef Monsters, I think it's now time to close out this video. Alright folks, that being said, if you did enjoy this edition of Known Combos, let me know what you guys thought of the Beef Monster deck by leaving your thoughts down in the comment section below. And while you're down there, if you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it with that thumbs up button. Share with friends, of course, subscribe if you are new or haven't done so already. It is the best way that you can support us here on the channel. And yeah, with that being said guys, until next time, stay gaming.